Okay. Um, Took me more than a couple minutes to set the timers. But anyway, what we'll be doing now, I'm gonna have music, but you guys not gonna have music. Alright, we're gonna continue. Don't know why it was so difficult setting a timer. Okay, let's go back to the Rust book. Variables and mutability. Okay. Are we starting a new thing? Alright, so what did you want to call this? Variables. There we go. Okay. No. Oh, come on, man. Dice. Yes, I do trust the author. Alright, so we're done with this, with the guessing game. Alright, let's go to the source. Let's see what we got. So, this is gonna have to be on the side. Okay. What do we have? Which we got? What do we have? Okay, so we're... There we go. Alright. Okay, so we're gonna start with main and we're gonna create an x and y, or just an x. Okay, let x be 5. Okay. And then value is x. Okay. And then we say x is now going to be 6. And print line. Okay. So the compiler would panic. Why? Because this is an immutable reference. Okay. Not reference, variable. So if we want to run this, why is this like that? Can I set it so it's always opening there? Alright, so it tells us you're gonna have to make this a mutable. Does the book say the same thing? Let mute, yes, the book says just change it to mute. Okay, so then we change it to mute and we have our results. Okay. What next? Declaring constant. Wait, let's do this time. Let's be organized. Um, Okay, so now we're going to be declaring constants. I don't know what happened, what changed my UI to look like that. I don't know what happened. Anyway, like mutable. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start. Doesn't matter. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that outside because I don't think it's supposed to be inside. Okay. 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 Are we using that? This is valid for the entire time the program runs within the scope in which they were declared. This okay, so we might have to move it back in. Value set. So like, what happens if we're printed now? Can we? I don't know if we can do that. But we sure can try. Oh, it would do just math on that. Okay. 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 So from there, we're just gonna move on straight to shadowing. So, yeah, shadowing what? Say, let X instead of having, okay, wait. So for this, we're gonna have to remark some stuff. Okay. So now, what we're saying is instead of this being immutable, we're just going to shadow this. And how do we shadow this? Instead of saying this, we're going to say let X again be what? X plus 1? X plus 1. So we can even do math on that because why not? Okay, and this is completely valid because, you know, we declared it again. So that's shadowing. But the second it goes out of scope, well, for the example, to do is, so if we shadow this in here, shadow x, and we say x times 2, and then we try to print that again, now it would be whatever the last one was. So it would be this, it would be 6 times 2, so it would be 12. But as soon as we go out of scope, it would go back to being 6, right? So we're starting with the 5, so this should print 5. This is 5 plus 1, so it should come out as 6. This is 6 times 2, so it should come back as 12, and it does. And this should come back as 6 again. Okay. Let's see, we're not gonna do cargo run. It works. Let's spaces. Okay. So, yeah, the difference between mute and shadowing is that because we're effectively creating a new variable when we use let keyword again. Okay. So they're just gonna give us another example. Spaces. B bunch of space strings slices, and then we can let spaces again. Be spaces dot len. Now those are two different variables, so they could have a different type. Okay. And mute, basically. That's what we're trying to recognize. So we can, instead of doing that, instead of well, so we don't need to do that. Wait 1 second. We don't need to do that. We can just make this mute. Okay, that's fine. It's unused, obviously. What? The error says we're not allowed to mutate a variable's type. Oh, okay. So, so we do need that. The other lines. So this is fine. I'm just gonna make this a okay, and then this one will be okay as well. But then this would this line should be just fine, but this line should be error. And why? No, it is not. It should be an error. The error says we're not allowed to mutate variables type. But this is exactly what we just did. Why is this allowed? The book says it's not allowed, right? I'm not. The book says. Oh, if it's just spaces, I see. Okay, if it's just if we're just trying to, because it's, if it's mutable, we don't have to say, we're not going to say let. Okay, and this is, of course, this is an error. Okay, yeah, okay, so we're good. So we're not losing our shit. Can we copy? Could not compile. Expected. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna put that in here. There we go. All right, next page. So data types. What are we doing with data types now? We go back basically back to the game we just created. That's not what I meant to do. CD, that's what I meant to do, and then CD again, and that code. And we need to go back to our, so we can access that whenever we do need that, which is not right now. Okay, so fuck the AI. What are we doing? Data types. So when we made the guess, right? We said guess something. Okay, we're gonna go back. Okay, data types. Let guess, and we're going to specify the. Well, actually, let's not do that. Let's see if our if we have to do that. I don't know if we have to do that. Okay, so we have a 42, but we're going to parse that 42. Okay. And then expect results, expect error, expect not a okay. What does it say? Type annotation needed. Yes, so we have to do that. Okay. What did I just do? Okay, so that's fine. We don't add the U32 type annotation shown. If we don't add the U32 annotation shown, Rust will display the errors. Okay, so we have to annotate types whenever we change them, because this is a string slice, and we parse that into an integer. So we have to tell them, because otherwise it would be just a waste of time, I think, for the compiler. Probably, I would assume it would be a waste of time for him. Scalar types. Then integer types. We were not gonna do that again. We done that in the course. The reason we're doing this again is because I'm saying maybe I missed a lot of stuff that I should have not, should have paid attention more. And don't worry, I'm reading the book as well, so it's not like I'm just typing shit and let X, what the fuck? Let X, I hate it when it just does that. And then, okay, so this is automatically going to be a float. Okay, we're learning about types. It does everything, does it anyway. Well, I'm just doing that. So, yes, we can be very specific with the type annotation. Okay, they're trying to show you that it's could be, you could be a good person and be very specific with your life. Okay, so both ways are valid. Let's just do something. How did you do that? Which one is it? I think it's this one first and then this. Only used variables. Yeah, okay, so it's the other way. I didn't remember how it was. No? What? Anyway, so those are okay. He doesn't have any problem with those. Okay, numeric operations. You'd think that's where we need to focus because, you know, I fucked up with a calculator, realized I don't know shit. But, no, this is just generic stuff like, that's sum. And we're creating a sum. Okay. Are we... We're going to do that. You know what? How about that? We do that. Worst case scenario, we just type some stuff. And then we have... Okay. Okay, it does help me see some stuff. We're going to just copy. Okay. I don't know what is that. What's that supposed to be? 56. Just okay, I'm gonna do exactly the same thing. And we have to learn something from that. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, because now we're dealing with a -5, so it's not a U size anymore. It's not a... What, that's a better? Okay, and now... Okay, this it's all stuff we've already been using and we know, but we're gonna do that again because we should. Alright, what else do we learn? We learned now that we have the Boolean. We have T is going to be, once I put that as true, it is going to be bool. And we can obviously be type annotation, we can do that as well. F is going to be for false. Alright, we're gonna be specific this time and we're gonna make it false. There we go, and we got type annotation done. Of course, the only difference is this explicit type annotation. The char type. Okay, fun. Just saying, in case you're wondering what's happening. There's K-pop in my ears and it's very nice. And I'm not going to play that because last time when I played it, YouTube was like, we don't like it, even though you're not going to be ever, because I'm never going to be making any money from that, so there's no problem with monetization, but they were like, nah. Yeah, we definitely don't need any of those. Okay, the char type. Okay, they call that like that, and let's just leave it like that. Let's not be lazy too. Okay, so if we do let C for char, if we do single quotes instead of what we normally do, like I'll just do the difference. S will be for string. If I put the same, right, I put the same character inside, but it's a different type. Okay. With type annotation, we'll make a char type, and then that's the only difference. And then another thing we can do, because it's a UTF-8, so if you look at the UTF-8, so the UTF-8 table, that's just, what was that? No, that's not what I meant. Something that would make my life explain that much easier. maybe this. I don't want to show. Anyway, so the UTF-8, it just puts it would just wait. So an emoji would be, well, sort of an emoji, but an emoji would just be a character. It would be just a char. And I'm not gonna look for that. I think I can look for that as a maybe Control O or something like that. No. There's a way of doing that. I don't remember how to do that, but there's like I can open something like no. Anyway, we can do that, and this is completely valid. But and I'm gonna put that. Because this line is important. Okay. I think that we can even go crazy, like, and just do like whatchamacallit, we can do something like that. I think we can do that. I don't know if we can do that, but I think no, we can't do that. Why can we not do that? Maybe I have to be specific. Okay, well, I guess it's not Python. Anyway. Compound types. Can group multiple values into one type. So we're gonna go into tuples and arrays. Okay. So the tuple will be, we have an integer, an I32, a float. That's not the number they put in, but it's gonna be fine. Another I32, right? Okay. But now we can also have a. Okay, this is tricky. I mean, I know we know how this works. It's not. This is not a complicated thing. It's just, it's fun that we can do stuff like that. And if we're print line of the y. Oh, just the y. Okay, yes. If we're printing only y from tup. Alright, so that's 3.5, which is in position number 1, indeed. Alright. What else do we want to deal with? What do we want to mess with? This program first creates a tuple and binds it to the variable tuple. Well, to the variable tup. Then it uses a pattern. Okay. We can also access a. Okay, that's how I thought we're supposed to do that. So if we do let. Oh, you guys. the h is 400. The 500 will be at the x position. Sorry, at the x. He created. They created a new thing. Okay, they make it very very hard for me to follow them. What we'll do is any print line that we have, we're just gonna remove. What do you have a problem with? Not have. Okay, don't worry. Anyway, so now if we have a list, well, a tuple, well, 1 second, let me just be, let's just do that. We'll have a tuple with the same values, 500, well, not same values. I'm gonna do the same thing as the example, and 1, right? If we type that twice, we can insert that, and then we don't have to type the whole thing. So now if we access x, we get the whole tuple. But if we go to position 0 in x, it's just an I32. Okay? So far, so good. Then we can go to 6 point something, and we can do the same thing, access in position 1, and that will be a float. And we're gonna do that, and this is gonna be x position number 2, and it's gonna be now 32. Okay. What else? Now arrays. Okay, so this is just tuples. And now array. So we'll start with with an array of integers. So I think there are a couple different reasons you'd use an array over a tuple. Well, a lot of reasons, but I don't know all of them. And that's when I'm not streaming. That's when I'm going to read that. Okay. I like the timer thing. I'm happy I added this timer thing, because now I have a timer that it tells me when I need to take a break and not overwork myself. Okay, so A is going to be an array of, well, that's not what I meant. 2. Okay, they went up to 5, so we're gonna go up to 5, right? So you see the type A is the type of a list, right? A list with I32s and 5 of them. You have to be very specific. That's something I remember. I'm just going to copy the next one. Because it's just, I don't want to type the whole thing. Okay, now this is a string slice times 12, so 12 of them. Now, what happens when we have something of the same type value? I'm gonna make an AA because I don't want to do the same thing they did. So now what we're going to do, AA is going to be a list, and in that list we're going to be having 3 That's the type we're going to be having. The type is 3. I know that fucked my brain too. So the type is 3 and 5 times of that. So if we're going to I don't know if I need to format that. I think I need to format that. Let's just do that like that. I'm pretty sure it's possible. And what was it? Am I supposed to do something like that? No? How do I anyway, it I forgot, what do you Okay, this is how you do that. I forgot how you do that. Or something like that, I think. One of those. I think that's how you do that. Because then he gets the when you add that, you can format the integers, which you're not supposed to. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. So if we do cargo, right, we should get the array of 333s. Okay. I'm not saying this is healthy. I'm just saying it's possible. But I'm using this because it helps me when in instances like this, when I need to just make sure that I'm right, make sure I'm doing everything right. Okay, we're going to array element access, which is essentially like what we did here. Just now we're going to be using keys because now we have now we have keys. So if we go back to A, I'm going to declare that again, just so we don't have issues. And then we're going to do let first would be A with the key of 0. And so let second will be A in the position of 1 because that's the second one. All right. So what else do we need? Okay, now we're going to be doing something with that. So now what we're going to do is mute everything. We're going to start a new main because I don't want to erase stuff again now. And we're going to type everything from, well, the bottom of the page anyway. How can I make this? I want to put that somewhere. Anyway, I wanted to do something about that. Anyway, let's start with declaring A. And A is going to be a list, an array. Sorry, I have to speak differently now. 5. Okay, so an array of I32s with 5 numbers in it. And then if we do print line, okay. Okay. to do that. I know they didn't do that, but I'm going to do that. And then let mute index is going to be a string new, because we want to create an input. And then let's import IO from standard library, std read line with a mutable reference to self, well, not to self, to index, right? And then handle the errors. Okay, or let's be funny with that. There you go. No copyrights. Okay, and let's close this. Okay. There you go. Now, we're going to shadow index again. That's not what I meant. Okay, we're going to shadow index again. And index is going to be index.trim. And parse that so we can get string from integers from strings, or U8. And then errors expect. That's going to be just for the heck of it, just to make it fun. Does it make sense what I'm doing? No, it doesn't make sense. And then let element. The element is going to be A with a position of index that we get from the user input. Okay? And then we want to print that. So print line the value, that's a string now, of the element, yes, at index, and then index is element. Okay, I think that should be fine. We should be able to run this already now. No, we have a problem because we need to type annotation needed. Okay, so what's the type? Our type is a useSize. Okay. Yes, that's correct. I was hoping it would be correct. All right, let's put number 2. All right, the value of the index 2 is 3. All right, index 2, 0, 1, 2, and that is actually 3. All right, cool. This is very nice. Okay, now let's see what happens if you try to access an element that is out of the okay. So if instead of this, well, I forgot, it's just okay, if we do that, now let's try to put the number 8 that we don't have is going to panic. All right. I thought that we handled. Should we not have? No, we didn't do. Okay. was supposed to panic. Okay. Okay. We're going out to functions, and I think this will be a very good time to stop this today. This is where we got today. I'm going to, in my free time, I'm just going to go back and read everything and make sure that I didn't miss anything. And if I missed anything, well then fuck it, I missed something. Hopefully I don't miss anything. Why am I doing this to myself? Yeah, once I finish reading the Rust book, we'll do the Slint, or if they have a book or something, we're gonna go through the whole thing again, like we've done last time, but just this time we're gonna do that more aware of needing to read shit. And then see if we're lucky, if we have the brain capacity to do that. So right now, we have done what we have done today is we created an array reader of some sort. He doesn't handle the the false very well. We could choose some stuff, like if we want to be funny, what we could do is, instead of doing that, we can do this and then +1, because the return, well, the position 4 is something that, like, if you start from 0, it's going to be position 4. But we want something, if the user wants to use something at position 5. So we can subtract 1 from the input and add 1 to the index in print. But just for the sake of this, right now, I'm just gonna make it this way. I'm just gonna do it. And then if I put 4, it's just going to say position 5. And it's just because I want to make myself some, right, let's just say position 0. If I put position 0, it's going to be 1, right? The first number. So this is nicer. I think this will be nicer. Anyway, thank you very much for, bye. Okay, we didn't get to the end of the timer. We're gonna have to stay here for another 5 minutes. And if we're gonna stay here for another 5 minutes, I don't want. This is. Not joking. This is music. They say rocket paper scissors. Not joking. I'm gonna wait. Wait for that. Wait. Oh, no, it doesn't. They don't say that. I mean, no, I thought they'll say that. Anyway, don't want YouTube to ban me before I even upload the thing. Oh, it's a stream. So by the time that our stream is ending, because we still have about 4 minutes, let's just see if we have. Yeah, they said that again. Rocket paper scissors. That's the song. It sucks. It's bad. What's clay? Simple to use, efficient, full. What's clap? What does it do? Create your command line parser with all the bezel. Okay. Show me examples. What are you supposed to be doing with that? too much. What is command line argument parser? Why would you need that? Is that something you use? Name is a string, count is a U8. Okay. Then okay, then we say args is args parse. For everything between 0 and args.count. Print hello with args name. What would be the result of that? Why would that? Why is that something? Can you not do that without the parse? Huh. No? Nothing? Okay. Well, you see, you learn something new every day. I'm gonna move these. I'm gonna say it's cool, I guess. But I can't think. I can't think of a use for this. But I'm assuming someone who knows better would be able to use that. All right, thank you for being part of my journey on into the 10,000 hours on programming, and 20 seconds. Yes, the dogs are excited. They know that when I'm done, they get to go on a walk. Yes. No, you don't freak out. Not yet. Just give me 1 second. Yes. Okay, bye-bye.